Hi, welcome to the Modern Renaissance Man Show. I'm Ben Copeland, the Modern Renaissance Man. Glad you could join us tonight on whatever channel we happen to be on. Maybe it's a channel we're maybe making more than pizza. Probably not. But anyway, glad you're here. One of the things I want to start off with is if we talk about the Iraqi war and how many people are pro, anti, whatever. This is one thing I like to say. Hey, if we're over there, when do the gas prices start coming down? We start getting some oil from Iraq. You know, while we're over there, let's get this country over here producing some oil. You know, and let's don't encourage them to join OPEC. You know, OPEC basically used to pay Saddam Hussein to keep his prices, from keeping his production low so prices would stay high. Let's generate some oil over there. Let's let them join the U.S. rich oil companies, and we'll see what we can do about getting the prices of gas. Probably by the time you're watching this, it's probably costing you, you know, quite a few dollars and half of your child to get a full tank. Let's get some gas out of Iraq. Cameras at the intersections in Charlotte. Has the city council ever going to turn those cameras back on? I hadn't heard that they have. We're probably showing this in June. You know, that was actually generating some revenue. Of course, the revenue was supposed to be going to education, and of course, they weren't putting it towards education. So instead of putting it towards education, they said, well, we'll just cut the cameras off. So people are busting the intersections again. Nobody's getting tickets and no money's getting generated. And the city's over there trying to say, well, how can we actually get the money coming in back to education? Is it that difficult? Oh, excuse me, I'm talking about Charlotte City Council. Oh, that's another thing. Here's one for you. While we're complaining about the Iraq war, have you noticed that Israel has never complained about the U.S. having a presence in the Middle East? Wonder why. You hear a lot of different groups, a lot of different countries, France, Germany, whatever, talking about, you know, U.S. shouldn't be over there. Haven't heard Israel complain a lot. You know, you hear a lot of different ethnic groups saying we shouldn't be over there, but I guess the Israelis don't mind us being right across the street, and we're not actually on their property. So I guess we're indirectly supporting Israel again. Here's the touchy subject. I'm going to go into a real touchy soapbox here in just a minute. I've decided to declare myself as a white African. If you believe in the Christian Bible, if you believe in the Quran, and even if you basically believe in the migration of people through the non-religious way that evolution occurred, we basically all came from Africa anyway. So to some degree, we're all African. So I think next time I go to fill out for a job, I'm going to fill in the other, and I'm going to write white African. We'll see how that goes, because everybody, I think, from this world basically supposedly come from over there. Scientists agree, religious leaders agree, so we're all Africans in some way. And with that, I'm going to step on soapbox on a serious issue. There's been a lot of discussion, particularly in April and May, on racial slurs. A radio announcer, i.e. TV announcer, basically lost his job. I'm not sure if he's completely fired or if he's basically been discontinued or whatever, suspended. I think he got kicked out. Imus in the morning got booted for a really pretty crude statement that he said about a basketball team, women's basketball team. He made some pretty vulgar statements. I think something should have been done. The people, though, that jumped on this bandwagon, I'd like to see them jump on some other bandwagons about racial slurs. Let's just don't earmark one person. Let's take the whole thing on. Let's talk about college boys getting beat up who happen to be white. And they get racially beat up because they're involved with somebody of a different race, accused of a crime. As far as I know, it's not going to court. As far as I know, the whole thing has been thrown out. But the people who were beating them up have never come forward and said, hey, we sort of jumped on the wrong bandwagon here, and you need to be defended also. Let's talk about a couple preachers who are basically jumping on the racial issue, bashing people. I think you probably know, I can say probably Preacher Al and Preacher Jesse. Good men in many ways, have a lot of great positive things to say, but they jump on this bandwagon of racial statements for one group, but not for another. I want to hear some equitable responses here. Let's talk about rap music. Some of the things that I hear in some of the rap music, good music. Some things I hear, pretty vulgar shots. I think something ought to be done about. We already have problems with our children here. MTV, VH1, they put on some pretty disgusting music. Nobody's complaining about that. Makes me curious if it's a racial issue. Let's talk about comedians who basically jump into racial slurs. Some comedians of some races, it's okay. Some it's not. I don't see equability there. I don't see people basically coming in and saying, hey, let's stop it across the board. If you're going to bash people because of race, we don't want to listen to you. I like to see some of these leaders in our country who are basically jumping on the racial bandwagon say, let's stop it across the board. I recently saw an interview, was talking about some of the IMA stuff, and a gentleman on there was basically saying that the producer, or actually the president, I guess, whatever, the founder of the Black Entertainment Television Network, was not basically doing what he needed to do to stop some of the vulgarities on his station. The gentleman that was speaking was a black American, talking about a black American, and he made a valid point. This guy's doing it for money. If he wanted to stop it, he could stop it. He agreed about the idea of let's be fair, let's be across the board. If you're hearing racial slurs, let's stop them. The last thing I want to say is that let's take a look at all the behavior. School systems. We have children in there saying some really vulgar stuff. Depending on what race they are, they get different treatments. I would like to see that stopped, and I don't care what race they are, what school they're at. Let's be equitable for all racial behavior and not any particular one kind. And I don't care what color you are, and that's the way I feel. And with that, what I'd like to do is to turn it over to Doran Snow and Anna Gallant, who's going to turn us on to some great tunes.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. This is a song written by Anna, and what's the name of the song, Anna?
What Can I Do? You helped. You put it to music.
Ask you,
why doesn't Daddy call? He says he's hiding from me, not y'all. But then I tell him the truth, he's just a coward, that is all. What can I do to make it up to you? I know your dad's not around, but I am. How's that sound? The time is running out. You're missing what they're all about. You're growing up so fast and you've become just a memory of the past. Just a memory of the past.
just a memory of the past.
that you dropped by. The youngest didn't blink an eye when she asked, is that a salesman at the door? She doesn't even know you anymore.
She doesn't know me anymore.
Doesn't know you anymore. What can I do to make it up to you? I know your dad's not around, but I am. How's that sound? What can I do to make it up to you? I know your dad's not around, but I am. How's that sound? How's that sound? How's that sound? How's that sound?
All right. I've been Copeland, my Renaissance man. You just heard some great tunes from Doran and Anna. Glad you could join us tonight. Appreciate that. Be looking for them on future Blur musical specials if you didn't catch them at the last show. Thanks for being here. This is great. Quick little plug for another show on Public Access TV, Veterans Forum. It's produced by my director, Dan Honeycutt. We put in a plug for the show because it's on Public Access. Please check it out. I think it's Tuesdays at 8:30. Good show. And Dan does great work for us here, and I'm sure he's doing great work producing that show. Here's one for you. Radio beams into our head. Have you thought about how much stuff we're getting coming into our brain these days? I got to think about this. You know, back in the 60s and 70s, nobody wanted to live the power lines because they were worried about basically the radio frequency coming off the power lines. But take a look at people now, liberals and conservatives alike, walking around with things plugged into their head. We got radio beams. Basically, as I understand, you know, there's rumors says that scientists are conferring with Orville Redenbacher to see at what point do our brains basically pop open and we have edible material coming out. How about these Bluetooth kind of people that basically walk around? You know, they look like schizoids. I got on the elevator the other day, and this woman just talking around by herself, you know, and I saw this thing sticking in her ear, and I was like, you know, I wonder if she's really talking or if she's schizophrenic. You just don't know anymore these days. Are they talking to themselves or are they talking to somebody else? You know, radio beams coming into our heads. What are we going to do about it? Probably nothing, because you try to call your politician and they ain't got time because they're on cell phone. With that, I'm going to sort of change the dynamics here of how this program works. I told some people, I got several guests tonight. We're just going to throw a bunch of people at you. And what I'm going to start with is an artist, and basically has been on the show a couple times over. See if I can get her to wake up and basically come on in. She's brought us some new stuff. Dixie Copeland, local artist and writer, and basically has been a supporter of the show. Dixie, come on in and bring us some of the art stuff that you got. Yay! Hey!
Hey, man.
Hiya! What we got here? We got some more rocks. Slate. Slate. Here we go. Can we get a camera on this? What is this one? Oh, that's pretty.
That's an
So
ocean.
what do you? That's an ocean.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with oceans.
Yeah, obsessed with oceans. Can you see that? This is on a, and this is China slate too.
Yeah, this is
Where do you get
slate
China
from
slate?
China. You get it from your brother-in-law who gets it for you.
Okay. All right. So we have a brother-in-law that gets this. It's like China. That's pretty. And then we have another round one.
Yeah.
And it looks like another ocean.
Yeah. So
Maybe this is the China Sea. There you go. You're going to get a camera on this one. There you go. That's a pretty one. So if you're into, that actually says here, slate, made in China. Okay. But that's not a plug for China. Anyway, and this has got a boat. This is cool. Painting on rocks. That's pretty neat. And you'll do some glosses. Is that what you said earlier?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't want to blind the cameras.
Well, my head doesn't. So what's the issue here? And if they don't like it, we'll just blame George.
Yes,
That's our theme. Still going on. We're coming into 2 years. If you don't like it until he gets out of office, just blame George Bush. If my head's too shiny or you don't like painting on rocks. Sorry, Save the Rocks. You know there's going to be a big
Save
group
the
coming out with
Slave.
that.
That's it.
We got somebody else that's coming. It's a budding artist. She's been on the show. She's been on some musical specials. See, grab her out here. She wanted to show a piece of her artwork. Kate S. Copeland, who's also known as the Roman host camera operator, key grip, and best girl. Kate, come on out here and share your artwork here. Let's see what we got. That's an inspiration from me. What do you call it?
I just painted a picture of a flower. That's all I really painted.
So it's picture of flower.
That's it.
You need to sign it.
Flower painting.
I couldn't find a Sharpie at the time.
Okay. Anyway, so we've got budding artists and established artists and
And
artwork.
blooming idiot.
So that's right. And basically somebody sitting behind the desk and doesn't know anything about it. Anyway, with that, we're going to actually bring out another person, but we're out of chair, so I guess we'll
I'm
just have
Mr.
to continue on.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you later.
And au revoir, arrivederci, and all of that.
I'll be the same.
And who I've got is who was with me last time. You stay if you want to. Are you
Say
going? Okay, bye. Anyway, almost live in Charlotte. Charlie Romine. All right, Charlie.
Thanks, Ben. See, that's what happens when I enter a room, women leave.
That's right.
That's the way it works. It's the story of my life. I married the one who stayed.
We're going to do something we didn't do last time, and that was basically we didn't do the host cam.
Okay.
I shot a little bit at the end. This is something we basically claim to have invented. And what Dan, I guess, is a year and a half ago, Dan, when we started doing this, we got those in the host cam, and we're going to do dueling cameras. Da-da-da-da. Anyway, so we claim we invented this, and then it was about 6 months to a year later, some other shows started having host cams, and but we have the original host cam. So we got the host cam going here, and if you don't think it's original, just write George a letter. He'll respond back and tell you you're wrong. The host cam, created by the Modern Renaissance Man, and if they don't believe that, we also have the, there's Anna and Doran over there. So, get you one more time. Boy, that just made them sick, spinning around like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'll edit in some of this.
The show is on Friday night.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, we get those people that stayed home instead of going out. I don't even know where I was going with that. Well, we have the Roman host cam. We did invent that one too, and we have the only Roman host cam operator that I know of too, Kate S. Copeland. Movie review. Go to your public library. This is one of my favorite bedtime films. It's called Lord of the Rings. I have not completed. I have tried to watch this movie. Dan, can you get the camera on this? I have tried to watch. See if I can hold it doesn't flash into people's eyes. It might make them go to sleep if they just look at the cover. I have tried to watch this movie probably 5 times. Unsuccessful. I read some of the stories. I can't make it through the movie.
Well,
I hear all these raves about it.
Right.
The movie's so great, and there's all these. What? It got like 7 Academy Awards.
Yeah, well, they spent about $1 billion on it.
I know. I fall
Shooting
asleep on it. I just put it on just the other night, and I was like, I could feel myself nodding. It reminds me of days of listening to Jimi Hendrix with my brother. Merriment's a necessity. Make sure you have merriment in your life. We were working on a Modern Renaissance Man DVD. Haven't put it together yet. And that we were going to freely distribute as we could get around to it, but not yet. So pay attention to our blog site, MRM at mrmtv.org, and for information about it, information about the show, about the music, things that are happening, my love of aviation, the fact that it seems like Scientologists seem to get planes, and I haven't found that chapter in the Scientology book yet. I don't know if you're familiar with that. We actually had an email from a fan or some guy that said his brother was a Scientologist and he couldn't believe this. He called his brother, and his brother has it on his 2nd airplane.
Wow.
So there's something going on about Scientology and airplanes.
We'll have to look into that.
You got John
Government
Travolta, Mission Impossible guy, what's his name?
Cruise.
Tom Cruise. He's got a couple airplanes. They're Scientologists. Have Scientologists get airplanes. Check out our website, and if you want to email me, mrm@together.net, I'll respond. If you'd like to come down to the show, send me a note. Maybe we can work you in. We'd love to have really live people here on the show. I got some stats here. Charlie and I are going to talk some esoteric stuff here in a minute, but I want to throw some stats out here that it's one of the neat things, I guess, about the internet you can get to. The FBI has one of the best sources of data, believe it or not, besides pictures. Mine's not on there. But we talk about bringing back the U.S. soldiers over in Iraq because of the safety factor and how many have been killed over there. Well, I started pulling some stats. Okay, basically, in 2003, basically since 2003, we've had 2,993, probably at maybe a couple dozen more than 100 since then got killed. And only 2,300 of those, a little over, were killed from hostilities. Others died of accidents and things like that. Okay, so it sounds pretty unsafe. But let's take a look at the United States. Did you know that basically in 2004 we had 42,636 people died in automobile wrecks? Just think, the odds are greater that they'll get back to the United States, they'll get in a car and they'll get killed than having spent 18 months over there. We had 240,000 sex offending crimes by illegal immigrants only. Just by the illegal immigrants. It is almost safer. I've actually started looking at real estate over in Iraq. I think you get it at a pretty good price, and you might actually get close to some good gas prices too when they start producing it. It could be safer for them to be in Iraq, statistically, than in the United States. They come back here to get shot. We got people shooting our police officers, you know. So maybe we move to Iraq. You talking about getting out of the country? Hey, let's go visit Iraq.
Let's go. Let's go.
Anyway, enough of that.
Cheap there,
what I want to talk to Charlie is one of the cool Ohio people. I love Ohio people. A guy I used to work with. He could build anything and everything. He was from Ohio. Guy Jennifer, my wife, manages Green, used to work with. He's been over quite a few different businesses. Cool guy. Does a lot of stuff. Builds just the superior cabinetry stuff. He's from Ohio. So why are Ohio men so creative?
I don't know. I know all the best Ohio men root for the Michigan Wolverines, though. But,
that's a problem.
No, I think you go back to Ohio for the years. I mean, it was industrialized, a lot of manufacturing and things there. So just a lot of creativity there, and a lot of people that are used to working real hard. So.
Well, somebody told me once that basically it was because there wasn't a whole lot to do there, or a lot of things or jobs, and you learn how to do a lot for yourself.
Winters are long. You have to find something to tinker in your basement with in the winter.
So did you root for the Michigan?
Since the day I was born.
Since the day you were born. You know, I always... something about their helmets just irked me.
Oh man, that's the best. That's the best. That's how you know it's Michigan.
Yeah, I used to see them in there. I was like, I never really cared much for that. But anyway, before we get off on hating each other for sports,
there's so many other things we can work on.
That's right. Let's get to some really good stuff. Let's talk about some really interesting things that Charlie's married, has 2 children, Andrea and McKinnon and Ashley.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 2 wonderful girls. His wife is just great. I hope she's as nice to you as she is to us, because we know they're within our neighborhood. And
right.
What do you see in this world as the challenges of marriage?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think a lot of the challenge. Speaking from a man, a lot of the challenges in marriage are the same as for teens. Anytime you turn on the TV, there's things that are breaking down your marriage. I mean, you see half-dressed people. You see. We try and watch a TV show or two, and you watch it for a few episodes, and there's adulterous affairs all the time, just debauchery and immorality. And if you watch enough of that, it gets in your head. And I think the same things that are some of the issues with our young people are some of the things that break down marriages.
And that's on the Cartoon Network too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's on everything.
That's Saturday morning.
Challenges of children. You have children. Mm-hmm. I have one, and stepson is 23. What do you see? Sounds like could come out of that too. Challenges of raising 2 girls or raising children.
Well, it is. I think a lot of the challenges that you mentioned with a lot of the morals that our society has just are in conflict a lot of times with being a good person, and that's why my wife and I made the decision for my wife to stay home, keep the children out of daycare. Not that daycares are all bad, but we wanted to raise our children. And we wanted us to be the main influence for our children, so that if they're messed up, we got nobody to blame but us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, here's an interesting one I hadn't thought of before. I thought of this question earlier. Is that what could the government do for you that it's not doing?
Well, I tell you what, in a lot of ways, I just wish the government would get out of the way. I mean, honestly, they do so much to interfere with your daily life. I wish they would get out of the way. Mm-hmm. The thing I think that would make it easiest for us is for if they want to tackle something, clean up the airwaves. You know, clean up the radio, clean up the TV. You know, free speech needs to be protected, but you know, when you're talking about things that the kids can get to, you know, let's clean that up and provide good schools. If you can clean up the airwaves and provide good, safe schools, I think the parents should be able to take care of the rest.
Works for me. We're going to have to cut it short here. Charlie,
Thanks
glad
for
you come
having
in.
me.
Charlie's an entrepreneur, supports their show. Probably be an email out there if you want to talk to an entrepreneur about his endeavors. Feel free to email him. As we start wrapping on out here, I'm going to see if we can get Doran and Anna start on some tunes. But before switch over to them on the cameras, we'll for sure thank our crew and cast. And y'all feel free to go ahead and start it on up while I talk on out the way. Anyway, so thanks to the camera people. Without them, couldn't make it work. Dano, you're the man, my director. Kate S. Copeland, who's now also helping keep up with time and manage the show as a floor director. Dean Smart on audio. Jennifer is unfortunately not feeling well. We'll be back. I've been Copeland, Modern Renaissance Man. Have a good evening.